Item 1, call the meeting to order and record the members present and absent.
Ellis,
Here.
Parker,
Here.
Slater, here, Kane,
Here.
Dermot's absent.
Allison.
Hang on. Uh-oh.
Coach P, can you help me?
I got it.
Hello, Allison.
Hey.
Item 2, read the open meeting compliance statement.
I, the undersigned clerk of the Board of Education of the Alva Independent School District, number 1 of Woods County, Oklahoma, certify that prior to December 15th on the last calendar year, the date, time, and place of the meeting was filed in the office of the county clerk of Woods County, Oklahoma. I certify that at least 24 hours prior to this meeting, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, notice of the date, time, place, and agenda of this meeting was posted in prominent public view at the location of this meeting.
Item 3, the consent agenda. All of the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at a board meeting will be approved by one board vote unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any of or all of these items. 3.1, addition of items of new business.
Have none.
3.2, the minutes of the April 3rd, 2017 regular board meeting and the April 24th, 2017 special board meeting. 3.3, approval of the treasurer's report on the status of funds and investments. 3.4, approval of activity fund. Approval of activity. 3.5, approval of activity account fundraisers. 3.6, approval of activity fund inter-account transfers. And 3.7, approval of the child nutrition report. Going back to 3.2, did anybody see anything with the minutes?
Treasurer's report. Well, you have all your attachments and everything. Treasurer's report again, we're in good shape. Actually had about $220,000 of gross production from a month ago of about 180. And I passed out these sheets on what we have unencumbered for the general fund and still unencumbered balance at this point in time. We're at 7.146,232.19 in the general fund. In the building fund, we have unencumbered at 1.4 million. So money is good at this point in time. We're pretty solvent. You'll see later on that we just only spent $28,000 this month, and so there's really not a whole lot to tell you about that except we're in good shape. If you have specific questions, I'd be glad.
On the general fund revenue, it shows we've only collected 63% of our vocational salaries.
That will
is
start
include the
coming in,
timing?
yes, timing. We're just now seeing some federal money come in and also state on their vocational will be coming in, but we don't anticipate any. Haven't heard of any deductions from the vocational part at this point in time, especially on salaries. That's just Jay McDermott's ghost shutting the door. We're in good shape. Any other questions on that? So we can go to the activity fund. And again, you can see that all the accounts are in the black and pretty good shape. Really not a whole lot of expenditures after this month until we get into the new fiscal year to where we get some bills in July for next year's billings and so forth. A lot of money in the activity accounts. activity fundraisers. The normal fundraisers, we didn't get the art in, that's after the fact, but they were at the medieval fair and as their usual moneymaker for their activities. And then the little kids basketball camp, and also kid football camp, and camp for boys basketball, baseball camps, high school and middle school. And team camp for softball. And then she's also got for concession stand for next fall already there. And her fundraisers of the banner advertisement sales are proud supporters. And then she'll have a youth softball camp. And later on in the agenda, we're going to be looking at adjusting the summer extra duty pay. And with this, the most it will cost a student to go to any type of camp that we have this summer is going to be $10. The most a family could pay is $50. So if you have 3 kids and 6 events, and you're only going to pay $50 rather than $60. So we'll have baseball, softball, basketball, summer pride, which is our weightlifting camps and so forth run. And any child can be involved with that for $10. And then the family will have to pay only $50 maximum. Any questions on the fundraisers? The inter-account transfer is due to the contract with Mr. Sunderland and with the Alva High School track. If they ran concessions and gate workers at football and basketball, that he would pay the Alva High School track $1,500 out of Alva Middle School athletics. So they took care of that all football and basketball season. So that will be transferred. And then child nutrition. You can see that total days served 18, total lunches served 9,000, average lunches 526, total breakfast served 4,000. We're up a little bit more in our breakfast. More kids are eating and everything, so that's a good sign there. So still we're in pretty good shape there on our lunch. Of course, the general budget will supplement the child nutrition account later on in the year, but that's where we're standing. And that's pretty much what we did last year, looking at the comparison from last year. So, if no questions, I would recommend to the board that they approve the consent agenda.
I so move.
Second?
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker, Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Aye.
Item 4, vote to approve purchase order encumbrances for the following funds for FY 2017, listed 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4.
Looking at the encumbrances for April, there's really not anything out of the ordinary except for purchase order 725, just an open purchase order to complete the rest of this year with Merrifield and supplies for the schools. On purchase order 718, we do have your rooms and motels ready for the OSSBA conference in August, and we'll be staying in the same hotel that we stayed in last year. And 731, those are new math textbooks that have to do with financial literacy to be taught at the high school. And 733, additional supplies for the art. Index is our reporting of fire and so forth, and we had some repairs at the high school to get that in compliance. And then you're looking at purchase order 745 and 744 to Walmart, excuse me. And that's for our new pre-K classes, the cost of getting those 2 classes ready. And then on 752, bought 2 Prometheans or 3 Prometheans at Lincoln? 2. To replace some up there at Lincoln. So spent a total of $28,599 for the month. Any questions on any of that? Okay, building fund. Jenkins and Price, those are the summer maintenance supplies that we have, the wax, the finish, and those types of things for all 5 buildings. So we have that on stock there. And then child nutrition. Had to have some work done on our soft water container at the middle school. Nothing from the gift fund. So unless there are any questions on any of the revenue expenditures, I would recommend to the board that they approve item 4 as presented.
I'd make a motion to approve purchase order encumbrances 4-1 through 4-4.
Second?
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
Item 5, principals reports.
Well, Washington's wrapping up another good year. We're preparing for our all-day pre-K. The teachers will be teaching pre-K next year have gone and visited several all-day pre-K programs in the state, and they're just kind of getting some feedback and making sure we're implementing a program that will be the best, and I think it will be. We currently have 74 enrolled. We also just completed our 2nd annual Color Run fundraiser, and my kindergarten teachers did an amazing job organizing all that for us. We brought in about $3,500. I haven't heard the final number on what of that was profit. I would say it's going to be probably around $2,000. And we are also preparing for our Summer Learning Academy. That will be 4 days a week, starting May 30th through June 22nd. And the Woods County Coalition, I believe, is the one that does the Gulp and Gallop, and they're going to also be doing that in our building, and it will correlate with the same dates, so that students can come in the morning, stay for lunch, and then they'll go home. So we're just preparing to keep on going right through the summer.
Okay, we're getting ready. We just completed our spellathon. We have our spellathon assembly on Friday. We grossed right around $14,000, which honestly is light compared to the past, and I think last year we grossed
Well, it's a good
around-
thing you're moving then if you're light.
I know. I don't know that anybody's ever called me light.
Well, I don't know about that either.
But it's been a very successful fundraiser for us. A lot of community support, from Walmart to Holder Drug to a lot of other, Rialto, all of our little fast food places throughout town, Hilton State Bank, and so a lot of community support surrounding it. This year I'm going to take 49 pies to the face, 51 because the second grade, whoever won second grade, whoever won third grade, the class, their teacher just hit me, and that's so it'll be 51.
And
so
that'll happen
it'll be
when?
Friday at 1:30. You're
This
welcome to
coming
come.
Friday?
Yes, in fact, normally in the bylaws, the constitution of the spellathon,
Yes.
if a board member shows up and I need tagged out, they're first. So,
Good to know, good to know.
At 1:30. You know, other than that, our teachers have been meeting on our curriculum alignment that we've had edit come, and I'm sure somebody will talk about it, but they've been meeting, going through all of that and those procedures, and so really kind of getting a jump start on next year, to be honest with you. That's it.
I brought something stapled.
Oh my gosh.
You really may not care to have this, but our biggest thing we've been working on is our edit training that we've had at the Career Tech, which you know about.
Yes, we're glad to have you there.
Yes, and we're glad to be there. One of the things that we have noticed, and it's like all the way down, that we need to be working more on our nonfiction, science and social studies. And we've found out that 50% of our testing is going to be nonfiction on ELA. So that's really kind of a big thing. And we've noticed that our reading curriculum that we chose last year is like right on with that. There's a lot of nonfiction in our curriculum. So we feel like we've kind of reaffirmed our choice in the reading curriculum. But you're looking at a list that the 4th and 5th grade lead teacher and I have put together for science academic vocabulary on top. And then the state provides a list for social studies, but they don't give us one for science. So we've gone through the science standards and picked out the key vocabulary words that we feel that are important, that we want to start working on for next year. And our goal is to make like academic vocabulary word walls throughout the building so that the students are having exposure to the vocabulary throughout the day. They see it in the hallways. We can use it for activities if they want to go leave their room and do something with the words. But that's our main goal with our academic vocabulary. But we've also noticed that we need to be touching more on the tier 3 words. So most of the words that you see here are tier 3. There's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And those are all domain specific. So, which means they're not usually used in everyday conversation, like electric circuits. So that's our main focus and our big item that we're working on for next year. So yeah, and getting ready for summertime. Mm-hmm. But this has been taking up a lot of our time recently, so.
At the middle school, we had 63% of 6th grade parents showed up for pre-enrollment. And also pre-enrollment 7th and 8th grade with parent signatures. We've got about 90% of those already back. So we're working on classes for next year. Other than our normal trips and so forth, I want to make sure that you all are aware that we have a Taste a Book program on May the 8th, and it's all day long. And they did this earlier in the spring, and I went by there, and the kids have done a really great job taking a book report, tying in a food to go along with it, and then the 8th graders actually stay out in front and talk about it as people, and these are going to be elementary kids coming, I guess, will be coming by, so they get to explain to those elementary students about the book and why. Very successful last time. One of the books last time was The Red Fur, and they had a picture of Jack Ging. And I asked anybody if they knew who Jack Ging is, this actor, and they said no. I said he's an Alva High School graduate. So that tied in a lot of things with these kids and so forth. So it's a really good program. So if you get a chance, go by and see it.
And it will be held at the middle school?
It'll be at the gym, yes. It'll be pretty much all day, probably 9 o'clock on by the time the kids get there and get everything set up.
It'll be in the gym, because the last one was kind of all the way through.
Yeah, it's all in the gymnasium this time, so.
You said starts at 9?
Well, I'm gonna say probably 9 by the time they get everything set up and so forth with schools coming in. Kids did really a good job last time, and they're working hard at this point in time. And you have the calendars of the promotions and all of their banquets, and you're invited to come and join us at any time there. Okay?
And at the high school, we're kind of going through the same thing middle school's going through. We're pre-enrolling everyone and doing different things there. We through the edit training that we're going through with curriculum mapping and those, it's a good time for our teachers to line out and figure out exactly what they're teaching when. And that, one of the things secondarily that we don't pay that close attention to, that we probably should pay more attention to, is what month we're teaching what concept, and whether we go back and do different things. Everything's geared towards the ACT test now. The other testing that we do is really just gone away. And the standards that we use Oklahoma academic standards, but our testing is going to be focused towards getting ready to take the ACT. And we're going to do those things. Career and academic wise, there's some legislation that has gone through that is an ICAP program, which is individual career and academic planning, and we're going to start that as early. I think Mrs. Cannon and Mrs. Duncan have already done some of those kinds of things. For sixth graders, mostly it starts about the sixth grade level, just to get those kids to start thinking about what they may want to do. And nobody's locked into anything, and it doesn't give them, but it just helps them start thinking which career path that they may want to take, which will help them plan in turn the academic path that they need to take through Alva Middle School and Alva High School to do that. And they, just having those conversations will make a difference with those little guys, because, seriously, a lot of parents now don't talk about those kinds of things at home. Sadly, they should be, but they don't. Now, if the kids can go home and start that conversation with their parents, then the parents can be more involved and more in tune with what those students actually need. So we're going to work on that and try to get that established and get it going, and make sure that we're providing what we need to provide. One of the things that Mr. Parkhurst and Mr. Argo and I talked about earlier today was a physics class that Dr. Meyer from the college has offered to come and teach and do that, and we're going to explore that pretty hard. I think right now it's just kind of in the planning stages, and eventually it may come to you all, but we are going to look at that where we can provide physics to our kids. Probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, went through our pre-enrollment papers and looked. I really just did seniors, and we had 4 kids sign up for the physics class that they want to do it. Now, we're going to have to work on his schedule and some of the scheduling things. There may be some conflicts there. I went through juniors after we talked about it today. There were 18 juniors that expressed interest. So there's 22 kids that expressed interest in physics at the high school, which is, I think, outstanding. Now, they won't all get to have it because it's going to have to be first hour, and it's going to have to be some of those kinds of things. So just logistically, there's 13 to 18 kids that probably could get something that we haven't offered at Alva for a while, in my understanding. So I'm excited about that possibility of giving them that upper level science, that we can do that. We push kids to do, our better students take biology as a freshman, and they have passed legislation that every kid that graduates from high school now will take a physical science. It doesn't have to be physical science, but most of our freshmen do take physical science, but some of our freshmen take biology. That just means those kids that are in biology, now we have to be sure that they have chemistry before they get out of Alva High School. So we'll have to track some of those kids and do those things. And we're having discussions now on whether we should just make everybody take physical science and do those things, and then we can take that physics class. We may have to offer it in alternating years as we do that. Dr. Meyer said, I'll do whatever you need me to do. I just want to help. And so that's been really good. So those are just some things that we're working on at the high school. We're getting ready to wind up the year for graduation. I will get, Mr. Parkhurst may have already done this, but I will get you a list of, sometime this week, a list of events and banquets and awards things that are going on at the high school to do those things. So you all are more than invited to come and see the great things. This has been a really, really good year, really strong senior class. And you're going to be real surprised at some of the things that we hand out to them at the awards assembly. So I'll get you a list of events that you're sure more than welcome to come to.
I don't know if we taught a physics class and she was a counselor. Would Frank?
I thought that was the last time.
He was the last teacher that we had.
Well,
Is that 25?
24 years ago.
24.
I
Well, but he didn't teach chemistry or physics for maybe the last 5 years of his tenure here. Okay. Well, first of all, Our own Valita Eccles is the Child Nutrition Association Oklahoma Director of the Year.
Wow.
So I got this last week in an email, and so very proud of Valita and what she has done. Also, just got this today that we're in full compliance with the Title I. We've had a consolidated monitoring that has lasted all semester long to get them the right information on the right page and the right wording and so forth. That we are in compliance with the federal laws on Title I. We also will have a Title I final meeting this Thursday at 3:30 here. Anybody's invited to come to that. I do have one resignation that we just got in 3:15 this afternoon. Kelsey Bryant is going to have to resign from her position as middle school secretary. And later on, when we talk about hiring from that list of non-certified, we want to make sure that we leave her off since we got her resignation this time. We do have a couple of reassignments due to all of the teachers that we're hiring and moving and so forth. And if I get this wrong, you elementary principals tell me I'm wrong, which be the only time you get to do that in public. Dana Hagelberg, she's going to pre-K, and Whitney Cotton's going to pre-K. Is that correct? Okay. Some of the things that we're looking at this summer on some purchasing, we are in dire need of a new telephone system, so we've been in process with that, so we'll be looking at that to bring it to the board. Also, our Apple computer lease is up, and so we own them at this point in time, and we have to make a decision on whether or not we're going to go back to an Apple one-to-one or to a Chrome one-to-one situation. Right now, we're kind of leaning toward the Chrome, but we also understand the high school would like to stay with the Apple, so we'll look and see what we're going to do at that point in time. Our VOAC pickups are 5.5 years old. One of them's got over 100,000, the other one's got over 80. They're still in good condition, and if we trade them at this time, it'd be a good price. We get about $12,000 off from incentives, and trade in and two cost us somewhere around $48,000. Due to the number of special needs students that we're looking at, we're going to probably open up tomorrow an additional speech therapist position, also a special ed teacher for Washington School or for the middle school somewhere in our system. And we really looked at this because of some situation happened this spring that we had to evaluate what we were doing. We're at the limit on a lot of these numbers, and we thought, well, we're in the limit, so we're okay. But when teachers miss, they can't make that up because they've got to go to somebody else. So we don't have time to make up those therapy sessions or those special sessions of tutoring and so forth. So our numbers have got to come down a little bit so that we can work together a little bit and help each other out when we do have those types of misses, either illness or whatever. So we're going to recommend to the board that we do those things. We're also going to do our own mowing this summer. We've got Clayton Walker, who we've got at the bus shed all day long. We feel like he and Lewis at the high school can run a summer crew with prisoners. They've been out to the prison and do our own mowing and so forth. So we're going to be doing our own mowing this summer. Also, Mr. Potter and I are going to go down to the FFA State Convention Wednesday in recognition of Rich Eubanks and what he has done for the FFA this spring. So we will be gone on Wednesday. I think that's all I've got. On legislative updates, the biggest news that I can give you is House Bill 1846. The gross production has pretty much dead. But you never want to say dead until it's all over with because it could come up. But I don't think they're going to take any of that gross production and put out in the special fund and then have the ability to do whatever they want to. I think that's pretty much secure at this point in time. There's some new law on windmills and those types of things. I don't understand all of it at this point in time, but what I do understand, that they're not going to get they're not going to get the tax breaks that the windmills are getting right now, but they're going to continue paying out those contracts that they've made. I don't think it's going to affect the 88 windmills that we're going to get in Woods County to go with Winoka and the Alva Public Schools. Anyway, that's what the representatives told me that when I asked that question. So I guess that's still on a go. I have not heard anything different. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 88 windmills in the Winoka and Alva school districts starting this summer. And then communications, I went over those, I guess, when I did my retirement resignation, so I really don't have anything else. Do y'all have any questions for me? I hope to get you a list and an approximate cost of all of the wants at all the schools, bathrooms, carpet, and those types of things, so that you all will look at before the June board meeting, so you know what kind of things that we're looking at and planning on doing for the summer. So hopefully you'll get that before the next board meeting. That's all I have, if you have any questions.
Not really a question, but we did have some top honors come out of baseball, I think, around here.
Okay.
We have Field of the Year, Coach of the Year, Pitcher of the Year.
Really? Out of the district? Northwest
I
District?
think it was the conference, I think.
Yeah, I think conference meeting. I know Coach Ball was the coach of the year, but I don't know.
I think we had Field of the Year and Pitcher of the Year.
We ought to have Field of the Year.
I thought that was great.
Well, and that goes to Coach Ball, because he does that also. And the kids do a lot of work themselves. Who's the pitcher of the year?
Rafferty.
Well, good. Well, congratulations to them. I did not hear that.
Will we get some coverage on that? I mean, who, so that the rest of us can learn about it? I mean, who do we
Here's the
contact?
man.
I think it was.
I'm just wondering who we contact or how
He's
do you
gotta be
how do you
notified
follow
by
that
Congress.
information?
Foundation. put
Somebody's
that
got
out.
to tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who to turn to now.
Seems like
Is it
I
OS?
don't know that we've officially been notified. I think I remember seeing it like on Facebook.
I swear I saw it. I think the Alva Education Foundation put it out on Facebook.
I wonder how they learn.
I don't know. That's where I
That's
saw
what I'm
it.
asking. That's
That's why I
quite an
saw it.
honor.
That's why I wasn't sure if it was even.
I don't know, I was
I
gone
didn't get it
this
from
weekend babysitting.
Okay,
You
good
did a
shit.
great job with that.
I'd love to have.
Well, I got it where I was supposed to, that's all
That's
I
all that really. I just wanted maybe if it was an OSSBA or, I mean, I didn't know where it came from, Secondary School Association.
Well, we'll have Mr. Potter check into that and make sure that he gets to the Alva
Making a
Review-Courier.
note as we speak.
All righty.
Well, that they should be recognized.
Any other questions or additions that we don't know of? My granddaughter shot 7 goals in her soccer game.
Well, there you go.
All right.
That's what's
Hey, we have the state soft 7 competition on Wednesday, this coming Friday. We are sending Connor Adair down to it for the addition end of it. At the time when we went to regionals, he won regionals, and the guy said they'd already had 4 other regionals, and Connor had the highest score out of all 5 of them so far. And so we're sending him. We also have an online competition today in soft 7, and we will know tomorrow whether any of those qualify for state.
Very good. Last chance. Anybody else? All righty.
7-1, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve an offer of employment of a 1-year temporary contract to the following certified teachers for FY18. Applicants 1, 2, 3, and 4 listed 7-1-1 through 7-1-4 on the agenda.
I think we get to put Madison on the spot to introduce her new teachers at this point in time.
Okay. I'm cool with that. Jennifer Filson. Yes. She'll be teaching 5th grade. Cecily Franz, she'll be teaching 4th grade. And Rachel Cunningham, she'll be teaching 5th grade.
Teaching what, I'm sorry?
5th grade.
Thank you.
And Cecily and Rachel were actually at Lincoln today with Northwestern as the student teachers, and they looked after our students from about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock so our teachers could go out to lunch for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Where y'all from?
Alva.
Richmond?
Nope, I graduated from Winoka.
Okay.
Alva in La Junta, Colorado. And I'm from Ponca City.
Okay.
Jennifer taught at my building back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm old, excuse me, Jennifer.
It's okay.
And Allison?
Emily Kennedy, she'll be teaching 2nd grade. She's currently teaching 6th and 7th grade language arts at Waller Middle School in Enid. She did quite a bit of subbing in my building last year, so I got to know her pretty well, and I'm pretty excited to have her.
And where are you from?
Beaver originally.
All right. You know the Hershocks?
Of course.
All righty. You're okay then. At this time, with the principal's recommendation, I would recommend to the board that we hire applicant 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I make a motion that we hire those people.
Rachel and Emily. I'll second if we can hire them by name, and Jennifer, Cecily, Rachel, and Emily.
Kane,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Y'all may stay or you may leave if you want to.
You can go. You can go.
Yeah, if I was you, I'd get
So well, you
Good.
can. Congratulations.
Welcome.
17, discussion with possible board action vote to rehire the following non-certified personnel for FY18, attachment D.
All of these have been evaluated by the principal or the supervisor, and all of them at this point in time have indicated that they would return back to the school with a letter of intent. So I would recommend all but Kelsey Bryant be rehired as presented.
I so move.
I second that motion.
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
7.3, discussion with possible board action vote to approve the contract with Alcohol and Drug Testing Incorporated for FY18.
Alcohol and Drug is doing our drug testing for our bus drivers, and we've been in contract with them for several years. It's the same amount of money, and they do a great job, and I would make a recommendation that we vote to approve their contract for next year.
I'd make the motion that we go ahead and work with the Alcohol and Drug Testing Incorporated.
Second?
Kane,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ellis.
Aye. 7.4, discussion with possible board action approval for a small group of AHS students to visit a wildlife park in Goddard, Kansas.
Tankanika.
Ah. Wow.
It's really a neat
It
place.
is a neat place.
And Mr. Dicewalder's want to take some special ed students up there, and it is really a neat place. I've been there. My grandkids enjoyed it, and I'm sure that our kids will enjoy that. So I would make the recommendation that the board approve this request.
Are they gonna go within the next month, I guess? I mean, is it gonna be for May? I'm just
Yes,
asking.
before school's
Before
out.
school's out?
Yes. I'm not sure what date.
That's okay. I just didn't know if that was for this current school year or...
Should be on your calendar if you've got your calendar
Oh,
with you.
okay. I didn't see that on the calendar, but I knew what last night.
Have a motion.
Make a motion we approve of that.
I will second that.
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
7.5, discussion with possible board action approval for an AMS Technology Student Association student to attend the National TSA Conference in Orlando, Florida, June 20th to the 25th, 2017.
And you have a letter in there as an attachment. Trinity Smith, an 8th grader, qualified for this, and it's a great honor. We just have to give permission to go. Mrs. Woods is trying to raise money to help with the cost with the airfare, motel room. She will not be going, but her mother will go. And what is she at the Career Tech?
Her mother,
Yeah.
she teaches CNA classes.
Right. So she's actually part of our faculty, to be
Teaching
real
staff.
honest with you, and so forth.
Do we know how much money she's gonna have to raise to go to this?
No, not really. She's trying to find out what the airfare
Sure.
and those types of things, motel room and so forth. Years ago, in the board policy, board used to pay for an air flight for national conventions. And somehow it got out, so we may have to look at that in the future to help with some of that stuff. But I think she's gonna ask the foundation, some other places for some help, so I'm sure that we'll find some money. We can't spend any of our TSA money on this, because we've already checked on that. Or any of the, she can pay a little bit of the activity fund, but not any of the money that comes from the state. But I would recommend that the board approve this request, and we will try to help her raise the money to get there.
So moved.
Second.
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
7.6, discussion with possible board action approval of the following board policies listed.
And again, these are policies that are sent to us through the Oklahoma School Board Association. We are a member, and then they will send out new policies, whether it's a change in language, whether it's new input from legislative, or however it comes out, to make all of our policies current. So we approve these, and then we throw the old ones, if they're old ones, or if they're new ones, we add them to our policy book. And these are the recommendations from the Oklahoma School Board Association that we are constantly giving these school board policies from. And I would recommend to the board that we approve these policies.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How much do they change? I mean, if you sit here and you have to go word for word, or do they ever strike and you know what's being updated?
They usually strike
Okay.
on the wording on those things.
A lot of the stuff is
Right.
legalese, and I just didn't know, when you look at them, like, unless you had them sitting side by side, it'd be hard to.
And a little bit more background. I think maybe the first year Mrs. Johnson was here, we went through this and got signed up with them. And we did the minimum amount of policies needed because of money, for some reason. Okay? Some of these policies were in the student handbooks also, so they relate back and forth and so forth. So she decided not to put them in the school board policy per se, because we already had them in our student handbook. So through, I guess since we started doing that, we really haven't got our policy book back up to where we need to, and that's why we're making these recommendations. So eventually we go online and put our board policy book online so everybody can get it. And we may be talking to some new webpage type of situations to be able to do that, but we want to have that out there for the public. And we want to make sure that we have a complete list of policies that will guarantee or satisfy our personnel. So that's why we're doing this.
And as I look through, there are some that have strike-throughs.
Yeah.
And that you can see where the terminology.
So you telling me you didn't do your homework, you just skimmed through
Well,
it?
I didn't go clear to, I don't know what page I'm on, but I'm a ways down here. How many pages are there in this thing? My goodness.
There's several.
And I mean, it goes on and on, but there's lots of them that I didn't see any strike-through changes, and, yeah.
For the most part, those are gonna be the new ones from past legislation.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Couple of questions.
Sure.
On the activity funds, does this incorporate the suggestions or requirements that our auditor made with the last audit?
What policy are you looking
The activity funds, it's CFB-R1.
at? Okay.
I don't have my notes with me, what all his requirements were, but they were about the receipts and
I'm sure that they are, but, because you always have to receipt and have them itemized and so forth. I'm still,
am I just dreaming that, Terry? Isn't that what he suggested, or they be signed off by 2 people?
Yeah, is it,
Anyway.
it's saying the classroom receipt books, and that's what we're utilizing. And then they're turning in a list.
but the thing that he was more worried about is that when we turn in gate receipts, that we have not only the athletic director, but the principal sign both those, to where we only had the athletic director sign them in the past. So we'll check that out and make sure that that's okay.
And then on the food procurement, I don't know if that's 100 or 150, I don't know, it's marked out. I didn't know what we were intending to do there. About the sealed bids in aggregate of 100,000 and then or more, and it's got 150.
I can't tell you on that, I see it.
Okay.
I think they're changing it to 150. I think that's what she noted on there, is it's going to be 150.
It's consistent with it down there, underlying 150, so they've raised that to 150 rather than 100,000. So that 150,000 will replace that 100,000.
So we'll get a revised policy.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
If
after
you
we-
approve all of this, then all the written in, Alva and all that will be typed in, it will be revised and so forth, and then it will go into the board policy manual.
Yeah, like each page has underlined areas or highlighted or marked out things, and that's what they'll fix at OSSBA.
Okay.
So who wrote the 150,000? Was that
OSSBA.
That came from them?
No, that was Pam. She's visiting with OSSBA on what to
Oh.
fix.
Okay.
So Pam.
Okay, no, I mean, I just, otherwise they've have stricken something out, they striped something out, what's the right verbiage there, I use English grammar, I know, don't copy me.
Right.
But anyway, it's been stricken and they had changed it, and I just went, okay, that's,
She's updating it.
that's
all.
okay.
That's a change.
That's what that's the discussion is about, okay, thank you for clarifying.
Any other questions on that? Good questions.
I move that we approve the board's policies as referenced in 7.6.
I'll second that.
Kane,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Parker, Ellis.
Aye. 7.7, discussion with possible board action, offer of employment to Shane Feely as head high school boys basketball coach effective May 22nd, 2017.
Last week we hired Shane as the elementary principal at Washington. He will be, if you all approve this, be the head boys basketball coach, and we need to put him on record right after school so he can be paid in June for any activities that he does for the Alva Public Schools. We did check with the Oklahoma School Board Association, the Attorney General of Oregon. Their attorney said that he could be contracted still with Burlington and as a extra duty contract with Alva, so this is legal. So anything after the 22nd, he could be paid for as the basketball coach. So I'd recommend to the Board of Education that Mr. Feely be hired as the head basketball coach. Boys, effective May the 22nd, 2017, 2018.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
7-8, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve the revised extra duty salary schedule for FY18.
What we've tried to do here is to come up with a fair fee for coaches that have summer camps, weightlifting, and so forth. And we looked at the number of hours that they worked and got a range from 2,000 to 4,000 for high school summer baseball, softball. That's due to the number of games they coach, the practice, and so forth. And we based this information off what they've done in the past. The reason we're trying to do that is because in the past, when they run a summer camp, they might keep the money and then pay the expenses out of their pocket. A year ago, we were told by our accountants that anytime they use school property, it had to come through our activity account. Well, the activity account and the amount of money and so forth did not always pay the expenses and what the coaches were making in the past. So we tried to find a fair and equitable way to pay our coaches for their summer hours and so forth. And we based it off of the total hours that they'll be working. And our summer pay for teachers is $25 an hour. So that's what we based this off of. And the assistant coaches may vary whether they spend all of their time as the head coach or they may be only at halftime for lifting weights, let's say. So our paraprofessionals get paid off in the summer for $20. So that's why we're figuring this. So that's the range, and be consistent with what we're doing with the coaching. These are the ranges that we're asking you to approve. This is the reason that we can offer summer camps for $10 for parents. Because the school is going to compensate for the coaches rather than the parents compensate for the camps.
Are we just limiting this to baseball, softball, basketball, football?
No. In fact, we had an interview with the band, and he would like to have a summer program possibly before school starts for marching. And we can consider that. We can consider a speech. I think we need to meet with those fine art programs and explain this to them. And if they want to, they could have a band, a speech, vocal camp, those types of things.
And is it just limited to high school, or is it?
Middle school and high school right now are the people that have been involved with it. I don't think we want to take over the Alva recreational programs of all the programs that they do in the summer. We concentrate on our middle school and high school age kids. I've talked with some coaches. They feel like this is fair. And then there's not any hidden money anywhere whatsoever anymore at this point in time. And all those $10 will come to the activity accounts and be dispersed back to the individual activity accounts. And the district is basically paying the salaries for the coaches working during the summer.
And we can do that without putting undue restraints on any of our other financial commitments.
At this point in time, we can. And the one thing about the extra duty salary schedule, it is not part of any type of union. It can be the board's discretion at any time. They can lower it, they can raise it, whatever. It depends on the financial status of the school district, because that is not tied to any type of union or negotiated items.
They'll turn their hours in weekly?
We will
monthly,
contract with them on the amount of hours basically kind of like what we do during the school year. You're the head football coach. We don't pay them hourly. We kind of figure out how many hours they get paid just once. So if you figure hourly, then if they had a basketball camp and weightlifting and you're talking 40 hours, more than 40 hours, then you're talking overtime and all those types of things. The other thing that this will stop is any coaches leaving after a year that have already been paid a summer contract. So during the school year, they will get a contract to teach and their basic contract to coach during the school year. And then we will write supplemental contracts for summer. So if they don't work in the summer, they don't get a supplemental contract.
I think it's a great opportunity for our kids.
And Karen, you're correct. The money's a situation, but that's the board's discretion and it can be changed each and every year.
No, I think it's important that we do what's right by families, but not put ourselves in debt. And I mean, we're held to be fiscally responsible with the taxpayers' money, and I think that's an important thing. So thank you for the homework. That took a lot of work to sit down and figure all that out, so I appreciate that.
Any other questions?
I move that we approve the revised extra duty salary schedule for fiscal year 18.
I second that motion.
Kane,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ellis.
Aye. 7-9, discussion with possible board action vote to approve the summer school classes and instructors. 7-9-1, summer drivers education first session, May 22nd through the 26th, and second session, June 12th through the 16th, 2017, and the instructor Steve Getty. 7-9-2, Washington Summer Learning Academy, May 30th through June 22nd, 2017. Instructors will be Tiffany Mata, Whitney Cotton, and Tabitha Carruthers. And 7-9-3, Longfellow Summer Reading Program, May 30th through June 22nd. And the instructors will be Melissa Meharry and Danae Hackleberg.
These are our usual summer programs. And again, we will run a bus for the Galloping Ghost to take them home or whatever it is. What is it?
Gulping Gallop.
Kind of like Study Island and Treasure Island, they always get them mixed up. And
I like
these,
yours better, but.
and these are the teachers that we recommend to the board for these programs. So I'd recommend program at Washington, at Longfellow, Summer Drivers Ed to the board.
I make a motion that we approve 7-9-1 and 2 and 3.
I'll second that.
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
7-10, discussion with possible board action vote to approve or not to approve the $175 fee to be charged for the summer drivers education program.
And again, we think $175 is fair. We have not raised that in, what, Terry, 3 years? Maybe 5?
That's been the last couple.
So we would recommend to the board $175 for summer drivers ed.
How many kids do we usually have to participate?
I think he's got a full schedule
Most
from what
of the
I,
first 15.
the first
Most you can
session,
do is 15 in
Right.
those 2 weeks.
because you've got that 6 hours of
Behind the-
classroom, then you've got those 30 hours of actual driving behind, so. And with teaching, still teaching at least 2 during the school year, we're getting most of our kids. We will take outsiders as long as we don't have any problems with students inside the school district. Make sure they get it first. So financially, I think $175 is appropriate, so I would make that recommendation.
I make the motion that we approve the driver's ed, summer driver's education program to be charged $175 per student.
Second?
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
7-11, proposed executive session to discuss the superintendent's salary for FY '18. 7-12, vote to convene or not to convene in the executive session. Do I have a motion to convene?
Make a motion that we convene into the executive.
Second.
Ellis,
Aye.
Parker,
Parker.
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
What do you guys do?
Like, dude, you gotta vote yes.